As a new detective in 1993, I had no idea that this case would haunt me for 27 years. Over the years, many people were involved in reconstructions of what she may have looked like, of the crime scene, of evidence, examinations, working with a variety of agencies to try to examine what we had left of Rebecca. And I just have to say that I'm just so thankful that this part has been solved, that over all of this time, there's now a family that we know this girl belonged to. And she is someone, she's no longer our Jane Doe. So thank God for that.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the latest episode of our Land of the Lost series. Today, we'll be discussing the discovery of the Rainbow Falls Jane Doe, how she was identified, and how you can help bring her killer to justice. Please make sure to check the links in the description box, and please share this video so we can help this girl's family with further closure and the knowledge that justice was served. Let's begin. The Rainbow Falls are located in the Pike Isabel National Forest in Castle Rock, Douglas County, Colorado. The falls consist of one large waterfall with many other smaller sources flowing alongside it. A beautiful and scenic location, perfect for a family getaway complete with a campground and other amenities. However, our story today is not one of a happy family holiday. On June 15, 1993, a hiker was making their way through the Rainbow Falls campground located in Pike St. Isabel National Forest when they discovered the partially nude remains of a young woman. The site where she was found was between Woodland Park and Deckers, just off Highway 67, leaving investigators to speculate that she had been dumped at this location before her killer sped off into the distance. She was described as being a white female, aged anywhere from 13 to 25 years old, with shoulder-length light brown or blonde hair. She stood at around 5'6" to 5'8" tall and weighed around 140 to 160 pounds. Her Doe network profile lists her as having large breasts and wide hips, which puts her on the older end of the age bracket. Her fingernails had either been cut or bitten short, both of her ears were pierced, and she had an identifying mark, a scar. The scar was on her upper left abdomen, which is consistent with having a splenectomy. An exact date for this procedure wasn't calculated, but we know she had her spleen removed at some point in her life. She would become known as the Rainbow Falls Jane Doe due to the place that she was found. She was partially nude, however she did have quite a bit of jewelry on her body at the time. She wore a gold pinky ring on her left hand, a gold necklace with a pendant that had two hands holding a brown tiger's eye, and a stud earring with a clear glass stone in her left ear. There are no additional personal items listed as being found with her, which leads us to believe that she had not died here. Doe was found at what was called a makeshift campsite, yet she had nothing but her jewelry and the few clothes on her back. Authorities purposely left out the details about the clothes until now, as they provide possibly the largest clue as to her identity and that of her killer. Doe was found wearing a short-sleeved Harley-Davidson t-shirt. Now, why is this important? Well, the Doe's estimated date of death was 2 to 3 days before she was found, making it around June 12th or June 13th. Her death was listed as blunt force trauma to the head. On June 12th and June 13th, a Vietnam vets motorcycle group had met up in Horse Creek, close to where Doe was found. As she was found wearing a Harley-Davidson t-shirt, the prevailing theory is that she is somehow connected to the Vietnam Veterans Group. Had her killer met her at the meetup, taken her into the woods, and then killed her? Or was this case completely unrelated? Authorities mentioned that there were no signs of sexual assault, but that does not rule out the possibility of other acts having been performed against her will. No drugs were found in her system either, and her teeth were in great condition, meaning that at one point in her life she had access to dental care. With Doe having been cared for in life and having access to medical care, the prevailing theory was that she was a runaway, possibly from Louisiana. A teenager who was arrested in 1992 and went by the name of Amanda Marie Morrison bore a striking resemblance to the Doe, but as investigating authorities would soon find out, the name she'd given was fake. Every detail she had given to police was false, and it has never been revealed why she was arrested. Under the name of the Rainbow Falls Jane Doe, she was laid to rest in Cedar Hill Cemetery in Castle Rock, Colorado. No name or birth date was present on her gravestone, a sad reminder that her identity was still a mystery. She remained buried there until 2012, when advances in forensic science gave detectives a glimmer of hope. Her remains were exhumed to perform further DNA analysis and to perform an isotope test. Isotope testing revealed that Rainbow Falls Jane Doe was possibly from the following areas: British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Newfoundland and Labrador, eastern Quebec, or Alaska. It seems the reason that no one had come forward to claim our doe was that nobody knew that she had been found in a different country. Police forces in different countries and even different states aren't known for cooperating together, never mind north of the border. The story of the Rainbow Falls Jane Doe is a harrowing one. Murdered and dumped in a makeshift campsite without her identity and no one to claim her. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel for the Rainbow Falls Jane Doe. In fact, that light came in August of 2020. At a news conference, Under Sheriff Holly Nicholson Cluth of the Douglas County Sheriff's Office broke the news that Rainbow Falls Jane Doe had been formally identified. The undersheriff said, "After all this time, there is now a family that we know that this girl belonged to. She is someone. She is no longer our Jane Doe. Thank God for that." As a new detective in 1993, I had no idea that this case would haunt me for 27 years. Now, we owe this breakthrough to forensic genealogy. While it's not a panacea for Doe cases and unsolved crimes, it's certainly been an amazing tool harnessed by experts in these last few years. Using the DNA obtained from the 2012 exhumation, forensic genealogists were able to create a family tree and track down relatives. Once they had narrowed down family members, they obtained a DNA sample and confirmed the identity of our doe. Rainbow Falls Jane Doe was formally identified as Rebecca Becky Ann Redeker, who was 20 years old at the time of her death. Rebecca had gone missing in 1992 under mysterious circumstances and was believed to have been homeless until her death in 1993. Rebecca was from Colorado, but it seems that she wasn't in regular contact with her family, which is why no one reported her missing. We know that throughout her life, she spent time between various group homes, which explains the medical care. As we often see, young adults get lost in the care system, and once they reach 18, there isn't much that social services are able to do if they happen to go missing. In the eyes of the law, they're adults and free to go where they please, whenever they please. Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock told Patch.com in an August 14, 2020 article titled, "Colorado Woman from 1993 Cold Case Identified Thanks to DNA." "We have been in contact with her family. She is survived by her mother and brother, and they are cooperating in this investigation and providing us with much information." You can imagine how difficult it is for them to not have known where their daughter or sister was because we weren't able to identify her. Sheriff Spurlock is now appealing to anyone who has any information about Rebecca to please come forward, whether you had a photograph with her or perhaps spent a few hours with her at this campground. Every piece of information is important, and no detail is too small. Rebecca's life was a turbulent one, being in and out of group homes and ultimately living homeless in the forest before being murdered at the age of 20 years old. To date, no one has been charged in relation to the disappearance or murder of Rebecca Redeker. There is currently a $10,000 reward for information that leads to Rebecca's killer. Remember, no piece of information is too small or insignificant, and you could be the missing link that is needed to get Rebecca and her family the justice she deserves. If you have any information, you're urged to contact Detective Mark O'Harold on 303-784-7815, or you can also call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS, that's 8477, and you can give information there anonymously. Bear in mind that you just might know the person who holds the key to solving this case and bringing closure to her family and justice to her murderer. Well, friends, thank you for giving Rebecca's case a moment of your day. Please remember that we're asking everyone who watches this video to please share it on social media and with friends and family. Until we meet again, take care of yourself and each other. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll talk to you next time.